Yeah, so the entire idea behind High Ground and Juvie and Project X,
Which is Project X.
Project
is the
X
game,
was
right?
the video game
Yeah.
we were working on developing. In hindsight, all of those things together sound like an enormous amount of responsibility and way too complicated if I were going to grade that vacuum of businesses. And it sounds far-fetched, but in those moments, it's not like we were driving the wheel under the influence, bro.
Yeah.
It all actually made a lot of sense, and we felt like we had the manpower to achieve like a lot of these goals. But the entire idea behind Juvie and High Ground is, well, one, just High Ground to begin with. I just loved Rustin and Ka, the founders, because they found a niche in gaming. They had been trying to make it in the gaming industry for a while with a bunch of different projects. And then they had this idea of making keyboards feel as special as I felt when I would unbox a pair of sneakers. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And as long as they matched the feeling that I would get with unboxing sneakers, as long as they matched that with the performance and quality of that keyboard, which they weren't able to do right away. They needed time to scale because they were just two guys slinging keyboards out of a van. But I thought the creative behind it was actually really special. It was like giving design to keyboards that hadn't existed yet. If you go into a Best Buy and pick up like a Corsair, Razer, oh my God, Logitech. Yeah, no disrespect intended, because I use some of that gear. Obviously not the keyboards, but if you go into a store and try to buy one, it's either a black or a white keyboard.
Yeah.
And so to try to bring graphic prints and different art inspiration and different collaboration with brands you would never see a hardware company make, I actually thought it was just taking like the gaming fandom to another level.
Yeah.
And that was an experience that I just like I just described, I didn't think existed yet. And the way that these guys talked about the creative behind the vision they had for the company, I just thought it was unbelievably special. Like, it made me want to be a part of it. And so when we started having those initial conversations with High Ground, we also saw the success of like Pink Whitney with Barstool Sports, like Dave Portnoy, their entire team, Erica, who was their former CEO. They just did an incredible job with bringing together the groups of folks they had and the pockets they had in different sports and different niche communities, and then bringing a product to life through their podcasts and all the videos that they made. And Juvie was supposed to be like a passion project for me after 100 Thieves. Like, what I know now is that I'll probably never start another business again, just because I don't want to worry about this many people and just have the weight of that many decisions on my shoulders. But at the time, it seemed like I've been sponsored by a million energy drinks. Why not just make my own?
Yeah.
And it was kind of just like this fun thing in my mind after I came up with the name for it, just standing in line at the Rancho Park driving range in LA during COVID, just sitting there with headphones in, just doing wordplay, kind of like I did to come up with 100 Thieves. It just rolled off the tongue to me. Juvie, rejuvenation. You go to the gas station on the way to Vegas, your boy hops out the front seat like, yo, you need anything inside? Grab me a blue Juvie, yellow Juvie, green Juvie.
Yeah.
Like, it was one of those things that I really just was like drawn to. And as the High Ground conversation became more serious, and we started looking at opportunities, because we actually had a lot of brands come to us with the idea of starting like a beverage together, primarily alcohol brands. Like, there was like a tequila company, and so it started to like kind of plant a seed in my head. And John has really good business instincts as well. It seemed like a great idea to have 100 Thieves be like the hub of a strong portfolio that is endemic to gaming, that had a lot of different products and a lot of different services that would make the business really attractive to a company that wanted to be involved in gaming but didn't know how. Well, look at all these different through points that you can reach this audience. Mm-hmm. And that's strictly from a business perspective. Like, High Ground and Juvie truly were passion projects, and the founders, like I said, Ka and Rustin, were phenomenal and still are instrumental in the business. And then me getting an opportunity to work with Sam Keen with Juvie, it just seemed like the perfect storm of opportunities, and then also would make the business and all the capital that we raised and all of the investment that we made, like, make 100 Thieves and those businesses a lot more attractive for an exit one day.
Yeah.
So it was like we got to have our cake and eat it too.
Yeah.
And that was really the motivation behind those two businesses. Juvie, unfortunately, and this is kind of like goes hand in hand with a lot of the tough that was happening, because I went to the board, was like, I don't want to be the CEO anymore. I love this business. I truly believe in it. I still want to be involved. I just don't think I should be the CEO anymore. Literally the next day, I think we're getting on the phone to talk about like how we would handle this. And then it turned into a conversation about, okay, we have to do another round of layoffs, and we think we're burning too much cash with Juvie. The business was actually doing pretty well for its first year and a half, and I just spent all this time where
I remember you were very excited about it.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah.
And it's like the weight of small decisions, they add up and become this bigger thing.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what the departure away from Juvie felt like, because if I'm trusting the people around me like I have primarily been this entire time, I understand that if we don't change something now, this business could cease to exist in a couple years.
Yeah.
But if we rip the Band-Aid off now and cut a little deeper with the employees that we have on payroll and find Juvie a better home to give it time to grow, the time it needs, and it's not as capital intensive, I think it could reach scale. You know, I know it doesn't sound like I'm inventing the wheel when I say we started an energy drink.
Yeah.
Because there's been so many that have been created with like the success of Prime and every single, sub brand that exists from all these other, Fortune 500 beverage companies. But at that time, it was really exciting, and it made a lot of sense. Like, if we have a new energy drink trying to sponsor us every single year, why don't we just do it ourselves?
Yeah.
Yeah, it just turned into this thing where, I kind of poured my heart and soul out, which took a lot of courage, which, whether that means a lot to you or not, or you care at all, to say, hey, I need help. I told them like how in a bad of a place I was mentally. And, at the end of the day, it's business, and they care about me. I know that the board members, like, I have a great relationship with. I know that they care, but at the same time, they have a lot of things to juggle as well.
Yeah.
And so it all of a sudden it turned into this, like, my breaking point, and then it reached the next stage where it's like, hey, we're going to get you your help, but we got to do these things first. So then Juvie, we sold to a Midwest like brewery company. They make artisan like root beer. And Sam, who was like honestly one of my biggest fears and worries, because I didn't want to leave him, because he busted his ass, and the entire team behind Juvie, with Damon and Adrian and a bunch of other folks, they ended up in a good home. Cool. And they got to, we basically gave Sam like the entire business. Here you go. And then High Ground is still, pumping away and doing well to this day.
So you also are like completely disconnected with Juvie? You have no...
I have no affiliation with Juvie. I mean, I still drink it on stream because I like it.
You just walked in with one.
Yeah, I mean, I buy it, bro. They don't even send it to me. I buy it. I mean, if I texted Sam and asked him,
of course,
because we still have a great relationship, he would send it to me. But I'm like, hey, I might as well support the business.
It was your idea from the beginning. But
the energy drink, yes.
But it was through 100 Thieves. It wasn't like not Nadeshot, but Matt as a person didn't necessarily own.
Well, we had a sales guy named Matty Lee, who I love. He actually came over from Barstool, and when he was going out on these runs trying to pitch the business for big partners to sign on as like a traditional sponsor for like a NBA team. Mm-hmm. If you go to an NBA arena, you see all the sponsors they have on like the turntable. Yeah. All the logos. I mean, that's a big part of a traditional sports franchise. I mean, that's what partnerships is for esports. Like, you sell brands, you do the collaboration, you do the content. And when these companies would start reaching out about this, and he brought up the alcohol idea, I had the bright idea to say, well, I have this thing in my head. Maybe you guys like the sound of it. So then all of a sudden it turned into everybody running with this idea. Right. And I didn't have the heart, nor did I have the desire to say, well, I was going to do this on my own, but let's just do it. Because I'm like, at the end of the day, am I going to ever make this on my own? Probably not. Yeah. I'm too lazy. Here's the name. Let's go build it.
But also, it's like when you're building 100 Thieves, when 100 Thieves wins, you win. That's how you're looking at it, too.
Yeah.
That's the thing that's kind of like the...
Absolutely. Tides raise all ships.
Exactly. So, like, for me, too, everything I did was, all right, I might as well do it through FaZe. Might as well, so FaZe eats off it. But, like, what I learned is, when things get rough, it's not a good place to be to have everything in that one basket. And, like, you kind of got to... Now, we spoke about it. I was speaking to Hex about it. I learned so much, and, like, I have to be like you. I'm like you. I'm not very confrontational. I'd rather just, like you, okay, whatever, let's just do it with everyone. I don't fight for even salary and stuff. You speak about salary, like the salary that I got was probably nowhere near what I should have been getting paid for the work I was doing. but like I feel awkward even talking about salaries. That's how
Yeah.
I felt. But it's just like a lot of lessons learned for me. I don't think I will allow myself to navigate like that again. But again, it's all learning experiences, I guess. And I see that Sam guy. I always see him on my Twitter. I always see Juvie pop
You ever
up.
have the chance to work with Sam Keen? He's like truly one of the best people
That's
I
awesome,
know.
man.
That guy works harder than any. I know when people get on shows, they talk about people in their lives, but
no, it
this
looks-
guy Sam Keen is like he's just nicer than he ever should be to people, and he'll give you the shirt off your back. So, love that guy to death.
Well, hopefully Juvie finds more and more success. And
Yeah,
he
they
does
got
too.
it. You know, a funny story. I actually told this to Haley because she said, "Oh, Juvie's coming out with a new flavor, and it's like sugar cookie, like Christmas cookie." And I had an off comment, which, listen, I have a weird thing with food. If you watch my show, I'm like, they're selling that. I tried it. Oh my god, it tasted terrible. But it actually ended up being. He came in one day to pitch because the first initial 3 flavors, we went to a lab together in New Jersey, and he took a couple extra trips to test out everything. But when we were trying to settle on the 3 flavors, we had to all agree that we loved it.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, Sam tried to build a business. He would go and try to create these concoctions. And he heard me talking about mint chocolate chip ice cream one day on stream. Bro, I swear to God, a couple months later, he comes into the office and he's wearing a mint chocolate chip colored jacket. And he hands me this bottle that's, the same exact color, not the bright, the all white that they have. It was like that mint green.
Yeah.
And he had me taste it. I'm like, Sam, you need to burn this, dude.
Oh,
This is the
man.
most disgusting thing I've ever tasted. But every flavor they've come out with since,
He came with a shirt and everything, and you shot him down. That
yeah,
day,
I don't know what a sugar cookie would taste like, but everything they've released since I've seen it or tasted has been a hit. So I'm sure
Okay.
it's going to be great.
All right.